Our guest is joining in 2 minutes. I hope all our preparations are done and everyone is ready with their parts.
Yes, of course, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello,
Yes,
am I
sir.
audible?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir. You are audible.
Uh, so just permit me to share my PPTs.
Okay, sir. So we are about to begin with the function. Uh, Sir, with your due permission, may I?
Uh-huh. Sure, ma'am. Please.
A very warm welcome to all present. Professor V.K. Gangalji, Dean, Faculty of Commerce, DEI University, Agra. Professor S.P. Singhji, Principal, St. John's College. Mr. Solomon Bari from Essos University. Mr. Tatik Yunhen Leslie, Bashirdar University. Esteemed guests, Professor Samuel Gordon, Head of the Department, Botany, St. John's College, distinguished speakers and respected colleagues, and dear participants. It is my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this exciting international conference on sustainable research organized by Pahal Horizon. Today, as we gathered here from various parts of the world, we come together with a shared commitment to advancing sustainable research in the face of ever growing challenges like climate change, resource depletion, and social inequality. Sustainability is no longer a choice, but a necessity. This conference represents an invaluable opportunity for us to collaborate, exchange knowledge, and collectively contribute to solutions that will shape a better, more sustainable future for generations to come. Our vision for this conference is to foster global dialogue among researchers, practitioners, policymakers, and thought leaders where each contribution adds value to the collective pursuit of sustainable development. So, through this platform, we hope to catalyze interdisciplinary research, encourage innovative solutions, and inspire a deep commitment to sustainability in every facet of life. In the coming days, we have an exciting agenda ahead of us, filled with keynote speakers, workshops, panel discussions, and networking opportunities. I encourage all of you to make the most of this opportunity and engage with the amazing minds that are present here. Once again, welcome to the conference and let's embark on the journey of sustainable research and innovation together. Thank you. Now I invite Dr. Yatendra Pal ji to kindly say a few words and welcome our guests. Over.
Thank you, Rachita ma'am. Good evening to all of you. Uh, Due to technical error, I am not visible, but another technical instrument I will be available. That is at my mobile. So I am going to welcome you all. It is an honor for me to welcome you all to this prestigious gathering. As Chief Editor of Pahal Horizon, I am personally excited about the remarkable potential of this conference and the opportunities it presents for global collaboration. Sustainable research holds the key to address some of the most pressing challenges we face today, whether it is mitigating the effects of climate change, developing green technologies, creating equitable social policies. Sustainability is at the heart of it all. Through our collective efforts, we have the power to shift the trajectory towards a future where both people and the planet can thrive. This conference is a critical platform for us to come together and share insights, ideas, and solutions for a sustainable world. Our goal is not just to discuss the problems, but to explore concrete, actionable strategies that we can implement in our research policies and practices. Every presentation, every paper share, and every conversation here is a step towards more sustainable future. As the editorial team of Pahal Horizon, we take pride in being part of a global journal that promotes high quality research in sustainability. We believe that research is a powerful tool for change. Through our work, we strive to support the global research community by providing a platform for innovative ideas, interdisciplinary approaches, and impactful solutions. We have an exciting lineup of keynote speakers and sessions planned with experts from around the world who will be sharing their knowledge and insights. I hope these presentations will provide us with a deeper understanding of sustainability from diverse perspectives and disciplines. I encourage you all to take full advantage of these sessions and engage in thought-provoking discussions. Thank you all for being here today. Let's make this conference a stepping stone towards positive and meaningful change in the realm of sustainable research. Over to Neetu. Neetu ma'am.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Yatendra Pal. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Neetu Singh. It is truly a privilege to be here with you today as an editor of Pahal Horizon. I'm excited to see such a dynamic and engaged group of individuals who are passionate about sustainable research. So, sustainability is a global challenge that requires solutions that are not only innovative but also inclusive and diverse. In this room, we have people from various disciplines, cultures, and backgrounds, each bringing their own unique perspectives. By learning from unique perspectives, we can share our expertise. We are better equipped to tackle the complex, multidimensional issues and sustainability presents. So, throughout this conference, we will explore a wide range of topics within the broad field of sustainability, from cutting edge environmental technologies and green innovations to social sustainability practices and policy making. There is no shortage of areas to explore. I am particularly excited to see the cross pollination of ideas between fields like renewable energy, sustainability, agriculture, and social entrepreneurship. Together, we can break down silos and drive impactful change. Dear participants, this conference is not just about listening to the speakers, but about creating an interactive environment where all of us can contribute. I encourage each one of you to actively participate in discussions, to ask questions, share your insights, and network with your peers. The strength of this conference lies in the diverse, shared knowledge that each of you brings. So, in last, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our speakers, panelists, attendees, and the entire organizing team for their hard work and commitment to sustainability. This event would not have been possible without your unwavering support. Once again, I would like to welcome all the participants and all present here. I look forward to the fruitful discussions and collaborations that will emerge over the next few days. Now, I also would like to introduce Dr. Pallavi Dubey. She will chair this session. Dr. Pallavi Dubey is an assistant professor in Department of Pedagogical Sciences, DEI. She has been recipient of Director Medal of Dealbag Educational Institute for securing highest marks in postgraduate. Her research areas span over academic emotions, cognitive coaching-based teaching learning, image craft pedagogies, personal growth initiative strategies in classroom, and innovations in pedagogies. She has presented papers in various national or international conferences, seminars, workshops, also organized various fruitful events in the area of research, AI, and many more. So now I would like to invite Dr. Pallavi Dubey to please take up the session. Pallavi ma'am. Pallavi ma'am, are you there?
Yes. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are. Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neetu Singh. And good evening, all the ladies and the gents, and all the participants and the members of editorial board and organization. Thank you for making me participant of this event. I welcome, I think Professor Vijay Gangal sir is here. Neetu ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, he is here.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
all right.
here. Pallavi.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
So
Good evening.
my heartful welcome to Professor Vijay Kumar Gangal, and let me have the chance to introduce sir. He is the head and dean of the Department of Applied Business Economics, Faculty of Commerce, Dealbag Educational Institute, Agra. And ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to introduce Professor Vijay Kumar Gangal, a distinguished academician with over 37 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic leadership. He's currently serving as the head and dean of the Department of Applied Business Economics and the dean of postgraduate studies and research at Dealbag Educational Institute, Agra. He also holds the key roles as a member of the boards of governors and chairman of the library committee. Educational background, if we talk about his educational background, Professor Gangal holds MCom, MA in Economics, MBA, and a PhD along with the prestigious faculty development programs from IIM Ahmedabad. If we talk about his awards and achievements, he has been honored with Professor B.S. Mathur Memorial Best Paper Award by the Indian Accounting Association for his outstanding research. A mentor to 18 PhD scholars with 12 currently under his guidance, he has significantly contributed to academic excellence. Professor Gangal also published over 50 research papers in leading national and international journals and has actively participated in the prestigious conferences as a session chair, keynote speaker, and presenter. He has led 4 major research projects funded by institutions like the University Grants Commission and IIM Ahmedabad. He has authored 5 books on business economics, finance, and international business, serving as a valuable resource for students and professionals. With his unwavering dedication to education, research, and mentorship, Professor Vijay Kumar Gangal remains a pillar of academic excellence. It is a privilege to welcome him to this esteemed gathering. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Professor Vijay Kumar Gangal. I now hand over the session to Sir.
Thank you,
Professor Gangal.
Pallaviji. Thank you very much, Pallaviji. It's my privilege to be the part of this conference and getting an opportunity to just to have a participation with the young participants of this conference. Well, will you permit me just to share my
Sir.
Yes, I'm just, yeah, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's clearly visible.
Okay. Now, as I came to know that you are talking about the sustainability in our research. Well, the sustainability is important in each and every walk of the life. But the question is, how we have to get the sustainability, whether it's a research or any other walk of the life. Well, today I'm just trying to get the say the some business organizations, but how the consciousness creates the holistic approach to the ethical organization, which is the base of our sustainability. So, in other words, I'm simply saying that if you have to get the sustainability in any walk of the life, you have to be conscious and ethical. Okay. Now the question is, what is the consciousness? Of course, the consciousness in organizations involves ethical responsibilities, social impact, and sustainability. Well, with the consciousness, we are able to create the holistic ethical approach, which integrates in our business operations, and ethical organization foster trust, transparency, and long-term success, which is nothing else. It's a sustainability for the business. Well, no, I will take just 2 minutes to make the clear consciousness. So what is the consciousness? See, the part of your mind that tells you whether your decisions are right or wrong. Yes, of course. Well, you know that conscious, which we called in Hindi, say our antaratma. And I am sure antaratma never says to do something wrong to anybody. Well, in broader sense, it is wisdom. Okay, it's something very different to our knowledge, to our information. It's a wisdom with great contemporary relevance and present a vibrant and versatile models for decision making and excellence, which is important for our sustainability in, as I said, in every walk of the life, whether it's a research or a business. Well, if we see that consciousness, well, the consciousness simply leads to the Satyam Shivam Sundaram, which is the very basic of our Indian philosophy from day one. Individuals as a wholesome entities value judgment at physical, mental, emotional, and intellectual level. And in a very simple words, physical, body, mental, our mind, emotional, our chest, and intellectual is our soul. So just to have a control, just to have a proper use of your body, mind, chest, and soul leads to our society towards Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. And Satyam, truthfulness. Shivam, the holiness, auspiciousness. And Sundar, say it's our beauty, beauty to all. So we can say Satyam, yes, Satya. Shivam, we can say the Divya, and Sundaram means Bhavya. Now, this is all about our Satyam Shivam Sundaram concept of that, based on the realistic need and the optimum utilization of the available resources. Okay, in any organization, in any walk of the field, we have to use our resources judiciously. If we are not using our resources judiciously, then we are not sustainable. We are not creating a sustainable society. So, and Shivam, the welfare of the people, and Sundaram, that's eternal beauty. Well, if we talked about the another word, the holistic approach. What is the holistic approach? The holistic approach refers to the governance economically, socially, and environmentally sound in both in short term and long term. Nowadays, we are talking about ESG, environment, society, governance. If you go through our epics, we are working on it from so many years back, so many years back. That's nothing. It's a Indian darshan. Well, body, mind, man, soul, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Holistic, all about a one person. You know that whether you are talking about a research or whether you are talking about an organization, what is that? It's just like a human thing. As a human being having the body, that's organization and research activities itself having the body. Then mental aspects, then emotion. In research, so many times we are stuck off whether we should write it, we should say it or not. And in the same thing happens in case of the business organization. What we have to do so that I can make happy to my employees as well as my customer and the society too. And then spiritual aspects also. So if we see an organization, ethical organization, having a simple, a triple
Sorry,
bottom
sir.
line.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. I think
Yeah,
your slides are not changing if you have shared it.
no, at my end, it's going to change. It maybe there's some problem in our connection. Okay, let me
Okay.
do it again. Yeah, I'm just stopping the share and do it again. Just giving me the 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Is it now visible?
No,
Hello?
no, sir. No, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Just wait, please. Now is it visible? Hello?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Okay,
Not your slide, sir, but the screen.
but the screen only.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, now is it visible?
Yes, sir. Now it's
Yes,
visible.
sir.
Okay,
Just
okay.
keep it in a presentation mode.
Yeah, I'm just. Is it now in presentation mode?
No, not yet.
So there is some uh
Sir, yes, sir. There's some technical glitch. But
yeah. So is it visible now?
Your slide number 6 is visible. Sorry, 8.
Okay. 8 now.
Slide number 8.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
on 8. Yeah, I'm on
Okay.
8 now. So
Okay.
well, we talked about the ethical organizations, a holistic perspective. So for a ethical organization, what is the yardstick? What is the bottom line? So basically, this bottom line is nothing. It's a triple bottom line, which we are calling in today's terminology, but I'm sure it is too old in our Indian culture. Well, first of all, we have to talk about the people. And you know that organization, by the people, of the people, for the people. Okay. So the employee well-being, diversity, community impact, it's directly related to the people, and any organization has to work on it in a very serious manner. Then we talked about the planet because we can survive. And nowadays we are talking about this uh, global warming and others. But so that we are not supposed to work only for the people, but we have a sustainable practice for our environmental responsibilities. And last but not the least, well, when we are talking about the organization, how the organization will be sustainable and until unless it's not getting the profit. So the profit is also the important thing, but the profit is ethical financial success. Ethical financial success means profit without any kind of exploitation of any section of the society, whether it's a people, it's a planet, or it's a society as a whole. So, well, ethical organization and a holistic approach has to think about all the three aspects of our this one. About that, then we have to talk about the CSR, enhances the brand reputation and the customer trust. Yes, as I told you that we have the so many stakeholder in business, and the business organization has to keep each and every stakeholder happy for its sustainability. So the CSR, that is the another important thing. Then conscious capitalism, focus on the purpose-driven leadership. As I said, well, to earn the profit is another important aspect of the business. But as I just said, profit without any kind of exploitation. That's what we are talking about, conscious capitalism. Now it's going to change. At the moment, I'm at slide number 9.
No, sir.
Where we are?
Slide number 8.
Yeah, it's taking the time due to the poor connectivity. And so it
If you
might be
just click
possible.
the slide, if you just click the slide number 9, then maybe.
Yes, every time I'm clicking. Until unless I'm not going to click, no
Okay,
matter will
okay.
be there.
Okay.
It's, so it might be possible that we can have a experiment that we should come out from this presentation mode. It might possible that you are getting it easily.
Yeah, we are getting it easily, sir. You are very
Yeah.
simply and quickly you are telling us, so it's no problem, sir.
Let
Carry
me
on.
check, sir. Now
No
is it
issue, sir.
visible?
We can continue.
No.
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, visible,
So
but
slide
it is,
number,
yes, it is, yes, change,
yes,
sir.
sir. Slide number
It's
9 is visible, sir.
yes. So what I'm doing, I'm not going to the this slideshow mode. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now, if we come to, do we need conscious organization? And if yes, why? Is it visible now? Slide number 10.
Yes, sir. It's
Yeah,
Yes,
completely
sir.
visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, well, do we need conscious organization? If yes, then why? You know that the conscious organization and ethical organization, it's important from the transparency and accountability. You know that when we are talking about the public, as I just said, organization of the public, for the public, by the public. So our each and every act each and every activity should be very transparent and accountable. Well, to whom we have to be? Obviously, all our stakeholders. And how we can be a transparency in our business activities when we are making the ethical policies. Okay, we have a system of the whistleblower. Sometimes what happens, there is just so many uh, problems in any organization, but no one come forward to tell to the authorities because there is a poor environment forcing them to keep mum. That's what. Is it good for a good organization? In my point of view, it is not good. There must be a very conducive, very cooperative environment so that we can discuss the thing professionally rather than at personal ground. Okay, so that's what the leadership accountability. Well, you know that accountability is another important thing because the power corrupts the people and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we must have the accountability in our organization system. Then when we need proper HR policies and ethical codes. Another important thing, regular ethics training. You know that in organization of the Tata, what the Tata organizations are doing, every 6 months, they are getting the sign of the mission, vision, and the code of conducts of the employees. It means after every 6 months, they are just going to remember just going to recall the people, their employees, for what purpose they are in that particular organization. Okay, then fair employment practices. You know that, you know that what kind of a people you are induct in your organization, the quality of the organization will depends upon it. In management, simple, if we say GIGO theory means garbage in and garbage out. So I think no organization, whether it's ethical or it's a conscious or a plain without ethics or nothing like that, you know that each they cannot survive. You know that if you are a once what happens, our a king is asking to a thief, you are doing the thieves in by own. Why not you have a partner? Okay, so that you can earn more by thieving, by your business. You know what was the reply of that thief was? Sir, I'm not getting the honest partner. So when the thieves is looking for a honest partner, so what about that? So that's a quality. You have to be an honest employee. And moreover, the work-life balance, it's another important thing. Then, as we are talking about sustainability as a strategy, not the planning, but the strategy. With the time we have to make the changes. You know that ESG factors, ethical sourcing, and renewable energy. That's for these purpose. We need our consciousness, our holistic approach to make our organization ethical and not as again and again, not only the any organization, but every part of the life, whether it's a research or our personal life. Okay, is it visible now? Slide number 11.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clearly
Yes,
visible.
sir.
We are on the slide number 11. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, then if we go ahead, why we need ethics in an organization? What is the ethics? It's a written or unwritten set of code of conducts or the principles governing the business or profession? Well, two things, written or unwritten. It's not necessary every time everything should be written. Okay. So unwritten is equally important as the written, say the set of codes or code of conducts. Then ethically responsible organization has developed a culture for caring the people and for the betterment of the society. That is the another important. As in the beginning, we said Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Now, if we are not working for the betterment of the society, then how we can follow the concept of the Satyam Shivam Sundaram? We can't be Sundar. We can't be beauty. Our beauty of an organization is simply to just work for the betterment of the society. Okay? Then necessary for the survival, efficiency, and its smooth operations. You know that you cannot cheat each and everyone at each and every time. So you have to be ethical in your business operations, in your uh, and which leads to your survival, which leads to your sustainability. Then government and legislation cannot anything do to protect the society. What happens? Every time we have a expectation that the government will do for us. Okay, what is the government? Isn't it a elected people? Isn't it a part of the society? If we are corrupt, obviously we will choose, we will elect the correct people. And then we have an expectation that they will do us something to remove the corruption. No, I'm sorry to say, in my personal view, nothing. There is so many kind of the social problems where the government efforts, where the rules and regulations or the legislation is not enough. Here, as a part of the society, we have to come forward and we have to take initiative to compel the government to work on that line. So every time, please don't look from others, whether it's a government or whatever it is. Then, you know that nowadays technology races is going ahead and the artificial intelligence at a one side making our life very easy, but on the other side, the artificial intelligence making our life hell also. Okay, we have the so many things, the deep sea, this or that. So how these technological changes to be adopted for the betterment of the society, isn't it a time to think it seriously? Yes. In our childhood days, we are used to have a one essay, the science is a good servant, but bad master. Isn't it? Is the time? Yes, of course. We have the AI, okay, artificial intelligence. But I used to say AI. Can we interchange these words and say IA? IA means intelligent assistant. So make technology the servant rather than don't make the technology as our own masters. Okay. So now, if we take, now I'm just giving the some examples to you. By that, these are the some famous uh, our companies of Indian companies as well as abroad, where gets known for their ethical shape, ethical leaderships. Say Tata Group. One is the best CSR programs, ethical governance, and sustainability. You know that Have you heard the name of the distillery? You know that these people are only ready to sell their business to the Tata Group, none others, just due to their ethical approach, ethical governance. If you talked about Infosys, transparency in their work, employees welfare initiatives, which keep the Infosys separate and separate with others corporate worlds. Then Patagonia, Unilever, ethical sourcing, fair wages. So these are the some examples which are getting their place in corporate world with the help of using the consciousness, holistic approach, and ethical in their organization. But other side, we have the some bad examples also. And these bad examples obviously give us the lesson. Okay? Enron case, known by everybody. Volkswagen emission scandal, misleading the data. Okay? Then what happens? It's a dent. And Wells Fargo fraud scandal, unethical sales practices. When there is such kind of the people, obviously we will lose the trust of the customer. And nowadays, you know that in business, unless you are unable to establish your trust among your customer, you cannot survive, you cannot sustain. So these are some examples of plus and minus both. Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir, it is.
Yes. We are in the slide number 14. Okay. So, well, it's a very easy to say adopt the conscious approach, adopt the holistic approach. It looks very nice to listen, but the things which looks nice to listen, it's a very tough to adopt. And that's what it becomes the challenge to us. You know that the bad habits die hard, but until unless you overcome your bad habits, you cannot survive. So, what are the changes an organization has to face to be unethical and conscious? Well, first of all, we have to balancing profits and ethics. Okay, I'm not saying that be ethics and compromise totally with the profit. No, of course not. We are not supposed to go to Gurudwara to take our lunch and dinner as a part of business organization, isn't it? So what we have to do, as I just said, the conscious capitalism. Of course, as a business, as an organization, to earn the profit is another important aspect, because an organization, I have to give the return to my investors. If as a business, I'm not getting the return, how can I give the return to my investors? Because the investors has minimum level of the expectation from my organizations. If I fail to fulfill that expectation, no investor will come forward to invest the money in my organization. So, earn the profit, but in an ethical way. Now, the question is, what is the ethical way to get the profit? Obviously, there is only the one word we can say, not to exploit anybody, neither people, nor planet, and nor the society and others. So get the profit, get the reasonable profit, not the word unreasonable profit, because the unreasonable profit is always earned by the businessman. But the industrialist people is always working for the profit, reasonable profit. Okay, so that's a very important thing. Now, if we talked about the another challenge, AI, automation, and digital ethics, as I just said, so many things are going on. Now, we are living in a world based on data. Okay, earlier it was a time, it was a society run by money. Okay, but now the society is run by data, and data is more costlier than our money. By the data, we are getting the money at a, whereas earlier by the money, we were getting the data. So now AI decision making must follow ethical standards and avoid biasness. Then the future trends. And the future trends, rise of conscious capitalism. Well, every time the people are having the objections with the word of capitalism, but conscious. You know that capitalism is nothing wrong. Okay, it's motivate the people to work, because until unless we are doing the business, what is the soul of the business? Isn't it profit? But how we are get, how we are earning the profit, it's create the difference. And that how we are getting the profit, that makes and that decides the level of capitalism. No competition by no cutthroat competition, no exploitation, fair deal, fair business activities in favor of all. The fair conscious capitalism is a situation where all the stakeholders of the organization are in win-win position. No one is loser. That's a conscious capitalism. That's our ethical organizations. And of course, ESG focus, ethical leaderships, and all these things. But the question is, how one can adopt the holistic approach to ethical organizations? Well, number one, if we think about this multi-dimensional thinking approach, okay, out of box, not only the one direction, you have to see in multiple areas to grow, and not only to grow as a business organization, but to make the environment in which every stakeholder can grow. So that's, we can say, the create the ability and skills of multitasking analysis. You know that in India, we have a lot of populations, but we are running short of skills labor. And that's what the universities and each and every organizations are talking about, not only to produce the labor, but to produce the skilled labor. Then strategic opportunities. Well, we have so many things. We have to work in so many fronts, but in a strategic way. We, you know that, what is the basic difference between the strategy and planning? Anybody can reply? Can any reply? Strategy and planning? Can anybody create the difference between these two words? Am I audible to you?
Sir, am I audible? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sure. Please come.
Sir, I think when we take strategy into play, it is like a holistic thing we take into being. Like we try to, analyze it. It's a more deeper analysis sort of thing. Planning is for a shorter thing, but strategy, I think it is for a longer thing. I think so. That's what I feel.
No, that's a strategy, basically a relative term. Depends upon the situation, whether it's a long term or short term. planning is a journal approach. Okay. Well, I have to fight Mr. X, then I have to adopt the different techniques. But when I have to fight with Mr. A, then I have to adopt the different mode of planning or different line of action. So the strategy is a relative terms, depends upon the situation to situation. Okay. Whereas, so what we have to do for the success of the organization, what we have to do, we have to very say within no time, we have to make our strategy by seeing our competitor. Who is my competitor? What is the strength of my competitor? And accordingly, I'm making the planning. So that's not a planning, that's a strategy. Because the same strategy, I'm sure, cannot work with another competitor. So it's a relative terms strategy. So we have to strategic, analyze the situation, analyze the conditions, okay, and we have to make our plan. Then another important thing, you have to create your own USP. In other words, you have to make a difference. You have to put yourself out of the crowd. If you are the part of the crowd, no one will notice you. So what you have to do, you have to create the edge over others. And then you can have some ethical or conscious organizations of that. Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in continuation, how can one adopt holistic approach? Then, apart from the things we have discussed in our previous slide number 15. Now, in continuation of it, what you have to do, you have to be realistic approach. Okay, business, to run the business, to run any society, or even then to do the research is not just to make the castles in the air. You have to realistic approach, practical approach, be impersonal, clear goals. What is your goals? What is your objectives? It should be properly defined. Okay, open communication. And this is also very important in research. Nowadays, I feel that the people are just keeping their research activities very close to their chest. No, come and discuss, because it creates the more opportunities, okay, to have more ideas. Clear? So that's what it is important. In a very simple example, if we are the 10 people and each and everyone having the 500 currency note, okay, and of the exchange, if you realize that everyone having the 500 currency note, it might be possible that you have some different currency note, okay, which you have earlier, but the value will be 500, isn't it? But if there are the 10 people in your groups and everyone having the one ideas and making the exchange of their ideas, so what would happen? End of the exchange, each and everyone having the 10 ideas. One idea, our own, and 9 ideas we come across with my group activities, with my discussion with others. So what is the important? To keep mum or to be open to discuss the thing? That's what I'm saying. When you are discussing your research, when you are discussing your policies, it gives you the clarity of the people, clarity of the thoughts, and openness always leads to the new or the better ideas. So be this open communications, sensitive to values. Another important thing, don't make any compromise with your value system. Okay, some may have a critic on it. No, my values is my strength. So please don't lose your strength by compromising with values. Then, if we talked about our mind and heart in business, sometimes we have to use our mind, but the people says in business we have to use more of the mind than less of the heart. But you know that there is a hard facts. Okay, comfortable with theories and unstructured global issues. Sometimes we have to be flexible, spontaneous, and creative. So in organization, we must have our hard knowledge as well as soft knowledge. Okay, hard theories as well as soft theories. So we have to think from our mind also, and we have to think our heart also. Then insightfulness, enlist your willpower. Okay, make a list of your plus and minus, and lead by example. Okay, rather than just preach the things. No, come forward, do with your employees, and that is the another important thing. Then conducive environment. This is the most important part. This is the top activity and the responsibility of the administration, just to create the conducive environment. And this is the primary work and primary duty. This any organization depends on its conducive environment. Everyone should feel happy, safe, and that would lead your, say, the least absenteeism and your this rate of this leaving the this one. Then now here just I'm trying to suggest the some checklist, okay, for holistic approach for ethical organization. If we are getting the answer in yes, then we can say we are good enough as an ethical organization. Is the organization committed to the growth and development of its employee? Its answer should be yes. If answer is no, we can't say it is a good organization. When you are going to join any organization, not only you are joining the organization for the present situation, but what is your progress opportunities, future opportunities created by that organization, provided by the organization to you. And that's the important thing. Then, does the organization share its vision with everyone? If yes, then there is a very good very good organization. Does the organization think big? Are the leaders of an organization willing to sacrifice for the organization and others' growth? So that is another important aspect. And technically, we should get the answer in yes. Well, does the organization spend the money to develop its employee? Is the organization willing to keep the things growing? Do employees support leaders take tough decisions? Sometimes what happens, there is some phase of the business, the leaders or the business authorities has to take some tough decision. Well, such kind of the decision should be taken with the consultancy, with the proper consultant of our employees. We should have an open forum where such kind of the things can be discussed without losing the professionalism, means the secrecy also. Does the organization emphasize production rather than the position or title? Does the organization adopt the fish option or the cork option? Yes. Last but not the least, it's very important. What kind of the option you have? Well, what is the difference between the cork option and fish option? Cork is a dead articles. It always flow with the current. But against it, the fish, lively, alive thing, which always try to uh, flow against the current. So whenever you are flowing with the current, you are doing nothing. You have to think out of box to keep yourself away from crowd. Otherwise, you are the part of the crowd. So that's a checklist. You can add others, okay, other points also. Now, sometimes what happens when we talked about the this organization, sometimes we have some biasness. Okay, what happens when we are trying to work to make our organization is an ethical organization? We lose our focus. Okay, the question is, in that situation, what happens? I'm just giving you some examples. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know that what happens when you are taking the decision? When we are taking the decision, we always adopt the soft option first of all, isn't it? The things which can be easily implemented. Okay, so that is known as premature termination of the search, means tendency to accept the first alternative that looks like a might work, means soft option. And please don't do that. If you have to create your USP, because first option, we have the so many options others. So try develop the number of the alternatives you can and then rank them to take the good decision. Then sometimes what happens? The wishful thinking or optimism. Sometimes we are very, very optimistic. And if you see the example of the what happens when the Atal Bihari Vajpayee lost his government and he said India is shining, and basically due to that this optimism, he lost his government. Then confirmation biases, selective search. Okay, don't be selective search, don't go for that. Be impartial. Okay, develop the many options, and across the society, across the approach, be practical. Don't have any kind of prejudice ideas. Okay, that is the important thing. Listen to the others. Sometimes what happens, the people who are not in our fields can give us the lesson, okay. You know that the creativity don't have a copyright of anyone. Any people may be creative, okay, and that's give you the lesson. So we have to be very important for that. Yes, group thinking. peer pressure to confirm the options held by the group. Avoid it. Well, it's a peer group, but don't work within the pressure of the peer group. Think what is the good to you. Think what is the good to today. Think what is the good not only today, but tomorrow also. Okay? If I have to make little bit compromise today for tomorrow, please do it, because it would provide you the sustainability. A business, not only for today, it's for tomorrow, next day, for next day, and again and again. So think about in a group, but no pressure of that. Source credibility and biases. So these are the some our bias which we should avoid to be our this one ethical organizations. Now, what we should do then? Sensational feeler and emphasize both analysis, intuitive thinking. You know that nowadays what is going on? The business. If you talked about the business schools, they are teaching you a lot of mathematical models to run the business. Okay. So what they are working only the analysis. But you know that life is never moves in a straight line. It's always there is a ups and downs, where it means we have to work our intuitive thinking, intuitive power. So use both mind and heart. Mind for analysis and intuition for our soul. Okay? You know that life. Do you think it moves always straight? When the lifeline becomes straight, you know that the doctor says, I am sorry. Isn't it? If you see the monitor, okay, in hospitals, when we have ups and downs in the lifeline, doctor says, okay. But when that green line becomes the straight, the doctor says, I am sorry. So the life is not a straight line. It's always ups and downs. And these ups and downs can be faced with the help of the analysis as well as our intuition. Okay, that's another important thing. Use your heart and mind, be flexible, spontaneous, and creative. Always to do something different. It would be your USP. And then value analysis. Don't think about results. Perform your duties. Be conscious. And it's nothing new. It has been said by the Lord Krishna in 5,000 years ago. Okay? Karma is most important thing. So, in the last, I feel that consciousness is the form of God. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I feel that the consciousness is a form of God, which lives within each one, and each God living person. I'm saying a God living person. I'm not saying God fearing people, God fearing person. Okay? Because we always remember the loving moment, not the fearing moment, and always motivates a holistic approach for a new economic world order based on sustainability, trust, and social well-being, based on transparency and the responsibility, based on thrive financially, making a positive impact. And it would be nothing Satyam, Shivam, and Sundaram. We are not working our own. We are working to each and every person attached with our business organization, and we are providing the truthfulness to them. We are providing auspiciousness to them, and we are providing them the eternal beauty for them. So, last but not the least, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes. If you see very simply, your consciousness leads your thoughts. Okay. You say consciousness or you say value, but consciousness is a more deeper sense of value. Okay. So your consciousness leads your thoughts, and your thoughts leads to your deeds. And you know that your deeds leads your destiny. So where you have to go, where you have to place yourself, not only in business organization, but personal also. Think big, then you can be big. Okay. So thank you very much for your listening, and give me the time for patiently listen to that. Any query, I will try my best to discuss all these things. Please.
Any query from the side of the participants? I think there's no doubt, sir. Your
Okay.
thoughts
Thank you very much.
have. Let me take a moment to reflect upon the profound insight we have just heard from our esteemed expert, Professor Gangal. Firstly, let's acknowledge the depth of knowledge and experience that Professor Gangal brings to this very significant and important topic, that is consciousness, a holistic approach towards framing an ethical organization.
Yes,
So
true.
your expertise in the field of consciousness has provided us with a unique lens through which we can better understand the interplay between awareness and ethics in an organizational context. So your presentation on the topic on the holistic approach to ethical organization has really illuminated critical pathways for fostering a more conscious and ethical workplace. So the way you framed consciousness has not only uh, 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 gave us insight about how ethical phenomena is not only important, but how does it contribute to the overall financial and holistic development. Sir, in our this rapidly evolving world where ethical challenges abound, your perspective on integrating consciousness into organizational practices is not just timely but really essential. I thank you from the side of all participants and the board of Pahal Horizon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pallaviji. And I did my best to clarify my thoughts about this
Indeed, sir.
business organization. Thank you.
Indeed, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. May I leave the session?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh, we are already running out of time. Now I request our next presentee, Miss Ayushi Gupta, to present her
Yeah.
thoughts on the, yes, Ayushi Gupta. Miss Ayushi Gupta,
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
are you
sharing my
ready?
slides.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am. Is my slides visible to you all?
Yes, clearly visible.
Can I start?
Yeah, sure, Aishi, please.
Okay.
Before you
Good
start,
morning.
I just need, Ayushi, before you start, I just need to remind you about the timeline that you have been provided.
Yes, ma'am. No
All right,
issues. I will wind up easily. Okay.
sure. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. As Pahal Horizon has given me this opportunity to present my context of research in front of the like in an international conference. It is based on sustainable research. So, as I am Ayushi Gupta, I have done my master's in microbiology. So, I am a microbiologist who always keen to work on small microbes which are not that visible to the entire world, but they have some kind of a sustainable they very much contribute in the sustainable research. So in my coming slides I will be explaining or telling you about how insightfully a small microbe, which is said to be like they can be pathogenic or they can harm the environment, but it is not that. These small microbes can also be a very good example for these agricultural aspects. So this is my topic, exploring the role of the acquired antimicrobials and the lactic acid bacteria in enhancing the growth parameters and the plant growth regulating mechanism in the Solanum lycospericum. Solanum lycospericum is, in journal words, we say tomato plants. World is experiencing a rapid economic growth in its agricultural sector, particularly in the production of food supplementing things. So it's like the people, there is a huge ample increase in the population, so there is a need of the rapid growth in agriculture. So people are using fertilizers or pesticides to like grow, having a good amount of yield for growth of the food so that they can reach the demand. But it's like this is causing a big problem that the soil is also being degraded. The quality of the fruits or any kind of vegetation is not that good, and that is causing a ample of diseases in human beings. So to cut down that thing, we can use antimicrobials. Antimicrobials is kind of microbes which helps the plant to gain all the nutrients and all the basic vitals, so that there is a natural organic growth and there is a the yield also is very good. The cultivation of vegetable crops holds significant importance in the field of agriculture, with farmers aiming to minimize the degradation of the soil quality. Solanum lycospericum, commonly known as tomato, is one of the most extensively grown crop globally, and India contribute approximately 3% of the total commercial vegetable production worldwide. This study focuses on using Lactobacillus aeruginosus strain bacteria. This is the bacterial strain which I used in my research, which I did prior about examining the growth parameters. If I'm using this bacteria or uh, this this agent of the bacteria to enhance the growth of the tomato plant. Promoters for the growth of the Solanum lycosperm in order to address the issue caused by the standard agricultural practices. So there are ample of issues which we caused during the growth by when we are growing this tomato plant. So this study, I used an inoculum of the Lactobacillus species to reduce the tomato plant's germination period relative to the control. So this practice which I did in my research helps me to know that this bacteria can help the plant to grow faster as compared to the in the normal controlled environment where I haven't provided any of the bacterial properties. These would be the contents I would be discussing in my presentation. The basic introduction about the what is the tomato, this complete tomato plant, that is Solanum lycospericum, and about the lactic acid bacteria which I've used in my complete research part, and how I have done this, and the results and the conclusion which I got after my doing this particular research. So, coming to the introduction, Solanum lycospericum is cultivated a dicotyledonous plant It is a source of antioxidant, dietary fibers, vitamins, and minerals. So these days we are using tomatoes as a like dietary fibers because it has a lot of dietary fibers in it. So we are inculcating this in our usual diets. On a worldwide scale, Solanum lycospericum is grown abundantly, developed as well as in developing countries. So in India, China, US, Egypt, Turkey, Italy, Brazil, as well as Mexico are the major tomato producing economies. Approximately 272 900 acres is being yielded about 126 1000 12,619.2 tons of the freshly picked tomatoes, and these many tons in 2020. So these been census, this I have taken from a paper, and it has been census till 2020. Solanum lycospericum is a significant crop. It is a nutritional crop which is rich in supply of minerals, vitamins, and fibers. A very potent antioxidant, lycopene, can aid in the prevention of multiple kind of cancers. So this particular tomato can be used to like prevent multiple kinds of cancer by supplying a vital nutrients required for the growth of plants, development, and optimum production. Chemical fertilizers play a critical role in the successful growing of the tomatoes. They are essentials for guaranteeing effective resources utilization, resistance to diseases, resilience to stress, higher productivity, higher quality fruits, and improved nutrient delivery for the plants. The examples of the bacteria that can promote plant growth or the PGPEB includes free living microbial organism that form particular symbiotic interactions with plants, bacterial endophytes that can establish colonies in either in a portion or all of the plant's interior tissues, and cyanobacteria. So here I am just trying to explain that these microbes helps the plants to gain the nutrients easily. It's like there are two different kind of nutrients which is available for the plants. One is in direct form which is available, and the second one is in indirect form. But in direct form the plants cannot take that nutrients easily, so these microbes helps the plants to take that non the indirect nutrients which is not being directly provided to the plant for its growth. So that is more beneficial for the plant to have a good yield, good variety which can be disease resistant, and a very healthy variety. The lactic acid bacteria significant is a probiotic bacteria which is grown in the lactic acid bacteria are used for fermented foods and are though to be safe for consumptions. Labs also control the biochemical cycles, detoxifies dangerous pollutants, and promotes plant developments. It also manages soil organic matters. So diversity in lab helps in decomposition sites as plant materials. It can be used dairy products, it can be used organic fertilizers, savage. It can also be used as a fermentation media. Like there are labs which has been lactic acid bacteria that's been used for as a fermentation media. The lactic acid bacteria is also initially present in our guts. So in some of the animals like birds, fishes, bees, they also have in this kind of a bacteria inside their gut. It is also present in the cavity of humans and animals. And it is very beneficial for the agrosystem, for phallosphere, endosphere, and rhizosphere. These are the different zoners of the plants where these are present and being beneficial for the plants. This was a methodology which I used. Initially, uh, I firstly took the seeds of the Solanum lycospericum, and I washed these. Uh, I washed these seeds by using different methods. Like I used bavestine, ethanol, and normal water, and did the cleaning of these seeds, and then let them dry for some time. And then I took the soil. The soil I took from was the Poison Organics Private and Limited. This was a place where from where I took the soil, because this soil contains of cocoa peat, which was 30% of the cocoa peat was present in this soil. There was sand about 25%, vermicompost was there about 25%, and humic acid was present in 25%. So that was that this composition, that I took this soil from this area because this composition was beneficial for me to grow this tomato plant. Using Solalum glycospiricum, then I place that pollinated seed like 1 inch deep in the soil and make the soil moist using a spray bottle. Then I germinated for 3 days, and then I used to cultivate this bacteria MRS broth. I used the MRS broth and cultured this bacteria.
Ayushi,
Knock- Yes, ma'am.
sorry to interrupt. Are you still on the slide 4?
No, I am on slide 6.
Uh, we are able to see 4 only. Just keep it on the slide
So,
presentation mode so we'll be able to access more of it.
okay. Now you can see the 6th slide.
Yes, now it is visible. Thank you. Just take care of time.
Okay. Okay, no issue. I will wind up soon. Then I used that bacterial lactic acid bacteria, then inoculated that the I inoculated that bacteria from that MRS broth where I have cultured that bacteria, and then left it for like incubation for 24 hours, because it takes like, in a bacteria almost takes only 24 hours to generally grow faster. Then I inoculated that bacterial colonies inside my plant base, where I have uh, soaked all my seeds. So I did this in two manners. One was a controlled, and the other was which I treated with this lactic acid bacteria. So as you can see in the controlled plant, when I saw see that complete plant, I took one of the sepals with their roots and the shoots. So I saw in the control there was not that apt growth, or there was not a complete growth of leaves and broad growth, but which the plant which I treated with the bacteria, I saw on the day 14th there was a complete growth of the plant. So there was a difference which I saw between the control plant which I did treated with any of the bacteria, and the other was the sample which I treated with the bacteria. This was the condition on the day 0, where I have settled all the seeds and used the soil. This I did in a tray, because so that I can see initially what kind of saplings is growing, and then I transferred these saplings into a pot. So in day 7, there was a little bit growth, and in around day 14th, every block of the tray was filled with the growth of the tomato saplings. Then I transferred these saplings to the controlled fund. Within initially, I transferred in a controlled plant where I didn't treated any of the pots with the bacteria, but the other was I treated with the bacteria. So when I saw on day 26, there was a growth, there was a huge growth in the bacterial treated plant, but there wasn't a complete growth in the controlled plant. So this is a difference, or like a graphically difference between the development of the shoot length, between the controlled and the bacterial treated. So the shoot was completely grown in around the days 26 in the bacterial treated plant, but in the non-treated plant, there was a not that growth. And as the same graphitical for the roots lens, I took the roots also and uh, try to measure its in the centimeter scales. So I saw that there was a growth in root also in the plants which was being treated by the bacteria. So the conclusion of the thing was, it has been observed that treated plant with acquired antimicrobials has shown the enhanced growth capabilities in the case of Solanum lycospericum, increasing the overall root as well as shoot length. The antimicrobials has demonstrated the capacity to be utilized plant growth promoting agents, has a potential to be used in the place of conventional chemical fertilizers. So it's like we are directly using the antimicrobials in case, or like by rather using the conventional chemical fertilizers. The following observations were made after studying the growth of the Solanum lycospericum seeds in the vitro. The control plants revealed that in general, control seeds require roughly 5 days to germinate a root and 7 to 8 days to germinate a shoot. The plants which has been treated with the antimicrobials, which first root was visible in on day 2 and followed by shoot outgrowth on day 3. In comparison to the control, this is clearly that antimicrobial treatment accelerates both the growth and the germination of Solanum lycospericum seeds. These are the references which I've used to write my paper and to help me throughout my research. And thank you. If
Uh,
you have any
Thank you,
doubt.
Ayushi. Is there any question from the side of listeners? Ayushi, this was indeed an insightful information that you have shared with us. I would like to know how could this research be applied in real world agricultural practices?
Ma'am, these can be used in agricultural practices by you, like we can incorporate these antimicrobial bacteria like in a kind of a biofertilizers. So these the farmers can use in daily basis, and then they can then rather spreading their bio chemical fertilizers, they can use these biofertilizers so that it is helpful for the plant growth. So it is not only that Solanum lycospericum is growing by use of these antimicrobials. Rest of the other agricultural aspects is also being very much growth, different growth. That there are many countries like Malaysia and different countries, they are acquiring this antimicrobials for the growth of the agricultural aspects to meet their demand of these yields and a good quality of yield.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayushi. Now I request next paper presentee, Miss Tuba Hasan. Is she here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You may begin with your presentation. And uh, let me remind you again that we are running
Yeah.
short of time. So you have just 5 to 7 minutes to present your thoughts.
Sure, sure. Just let me know if my slide is sharing and if it's changing also. Are the slides changing?
I'm not able to see your slide right now.
Oh, just a second. Now is it visible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Carry on. Over to you.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Tuba and I'm a psychology graduate. Currently, I'm also pursuing cyber laws postgraduate diploma from the National Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar, India. I'm also a young researcher who basically focuses and his main interest lies in the well-being of children and adolescents. So, in this same field for the last 4 months, I have been working on a review paper which is focused on the psychological and legal perspectives of the child sexual abuse material in the cyberspace. In a very simple term, child pornography. It has now been changed, so hence the bigger terminology. So this paper allowed me to combine my knowledge of psychology and cyber laws and to help me develop a deeper understanding of how we can look around for potential perpetrators around us and child protection activities. So I joined Pahal Horizon 3 months ago, and since then, Pahal Horizon has been a great support for giving the direction and the guidance that I needed to complete my review paper. So before we actually begin, I would like to tell you all that my topic might be quite sensitive and triggering to some of you. So if any one of you at any point feels like you can't take it or it is triggering to you, feel free to stop me and I'll stop right away. So for now, so we won't be dwelling too much into the statistical figure because over the times we have become quite desensitized towards numbers. So, but I want you to imagine a scenario where there is a child, any age group. In today's world, children are very aware of what internet is, what cyberspace is. So, a child who was not only sexually exploited, but his exploitation, the process of exploitation, everything was filmed and uploaded over the cyberspace. Now, cyberspace in very layman terms can be a mobile phone. The world of internet over your mobile phone, that's all cyberspace. It's very dynamic and it lacks boundaries and it extends beyond what is visible to you. So your Facebook, LinkedIn are just the part which of the cyberspace that is visible to you, but it extends much beyond that, like dark web and deepfakes. So it is quite dynamic and most of all, it lacks boundaries. So coming back to our hypothetical situations, once that content is uploaded and the child is very much aware of that, the content gains global popularity because of the cyberspace dynamic nature, and it makes the users anonymous. So a very good aspect and a very bad aspect in terms of offending. So the user anonymity is highly accessible nature, and the dynamic natures makes it very difficult to implement to control cyberspace and to actually implement laws which can control cyberspace. So what actually is CSEAM? That's the short term which we use nowadays. And so CSEAM is nothing but child sexually abusive and exploitative material in where a child is sexually exploited and his or her content is uploaded over the internet. This content is very easily accessible. It also includes grooming and live streaming of abuse and can be extortion or child trafficking, which child trafficking also happens via internet. Dark web is usually used, and the transactions are usually done through bitcoins or any not in the normal currency. That means. This is the role of cyberspace in CSEM. As I discussed earlier, cyberspace is very dynamic. It allows the user to be anonymous, to be accessible at any points of time from anywhere in the world, and encryption facility. The encryption facility has been the most challenging part of the cyberspace to the government, especially because by providing the encryption, the users are the government facilities or even the intermediaries or the apps which are providing the services can't see what the content is being shared among two people, what they are downloading or what the content is being shared, what kind of talks they are having or what potential threats they can be planning over their chatbot, which is a cyberspace. So in legal framework, I will be talking in reference to India. So that's what my topic is from the reference of IT Act, which is Information Technology Act 2000. It covers IT Act covers all the activities related to cyberspace, be it transactions, be it what content is being uploaded, or any attacks which can be done on the computers or everything. So in September 2024, the Supreme Court of India has passed a judgment to replace the term child pornography with the term child sexual, exploitative, and abuse material. This replacement of the term is landmark. It was a landmark judgment in the case of Justice Alliance versus Harish. So this terminology change has made the activity or the sorry not activity has made this act a sexual exploitative act which is not consensual, because children we don't look for the consent of children alone. So then we also have our Information Technology Act, Section 67B. Section 67B is a very comprehensive section which legalizes which not only criminalizes the downloading or uploading of such content, but also viewing in your personal space. And then we also have another act, which is POXO Act. It is Prevention of Children Against Sexual Offences. Its section 15 is a very comprehensive, very good section which protects the children and provides the penalties which the offenders have to go through. Beyond our legal considerations, the child which let's go back to our scenario, the child who suffered from abuse with full knowledge that that has been filmed and uploaded over the internet. So that child is hyper aware that once the content is uploaded over the internet, it's very difficult to take it down. Your digital footprints will always remain there. So you can never like be assured that even if the government facilities or anyone, if they have taken our content, it's never very 100% sure, because if someone has downloaded that, it's there in their personal space, it can't be tracked. So the children suffer from long-term symptoms of trauma, post PTSD, depression, and anxiety. They live in constant fear, of course, because they fear that anytime that content can pop up again at any point of the life, and then this leads to their stress. They see the stress and living in the constant fear. In this paper, I have not only covered the aspects of psychological impact on the children, but also psychological impact on the investigators. So our law enforcement officers who investigate such cases, they are constantly exposed to such explicit content. So they also suffer from serious mental health issues. Their constant exposure to such content has reported that it has led to the feelings of cynicism and emotional detachment in their personal lives. They suffer from extreme anxiety and stress, and overall they are like everything. They feel hyper responsible for protecting the children. They develop the feeling of hyper responsibility of protecting the children, and at some points they also start to blame themselves. And also, apart from psychological issues, they also suffer from other physical diseases such as cardiovascular diseases or gastrointestinal diseases, immunology issues as well. Now, coming to the legal challenges, again, this is in respects to India only. So, although we have IT Act, the Information Technology Act, and the POXO Act, but it lacks a victim-centric approach. So, victim-centric, it only focuses on providing penalties to the offenders. And since the cyberspace is very dynamic, it changes way faster than the laws can actually, than the legal system can actually detect it, understand it, and then make laws on it. And making laws and implementation of those laws is a very, very long procedure. So, and from even if they are able to detect it and make laws on it, by the time the laws is in the position of implementation, the cyberspace changes. Its attributes, it's the way it works, it changes completely. And other legal challenges that we face in cyberspace is the issue of jurisdiction, because cyberspace has no boundaries. So the issue of jurisdiction, where the which country will get the jurisdiction in a particular case, or which country if the like offender and the victim are of different countries. So the issue of jurisdictions is a very lagging aspect in the topic of cyberspace, and it also leads to, of course, very much delays, because detection is difficult, and then again the other legal proceedings, and then the issue of jurisdiction, sorry. And the limitation of psychological support, as I mentioned earlier, also our legal system lacks a victim-centric approach. So because of that,
Tuba. Tuba, are you there? Tuba Hasan, are you there?
Am I not audible, ma'am?
Now you're audible.
I was not audible earlier also.
No, earlier you were audible, but now I think you have wound up.
Yeah, just इसके बाद, after this there is only a conclusion part and the recommendation part. 2 more
Okay,
minutes.
all right, Tuba.
Yeah, so I was on the slide of limitation of psychological support. So as I said earlier, that our legal framework lacks the victim-centric approach. So this also leads to the neglect of providing psychological support to the victims within the framework of law. So the victim has to personally approach the psychologist or the mental health expert to seek help. And it also there are no provisions to train the law enforcement officers or the police in such trauma-informed cases, and how they can deal with the excessive exposure to such abusive content. Yeah, and for now we am heading towards the conclusion. So some recommendations which I would like to like be very happy if that happens. First of all is intermediary accountability. So in section 79 also of the IT Act, their intermediary is very provides a safe harbor to the intermediaries, which in short terms means they are safe. Intermediary is not liable. They are safe if they are not directly involved in that content, in uploading that content or deciding where that content goes, in which to the which audience that content is shown. So they are free from that. So I think that should not be the case, and intermediary should be held accountable for the information that is being uploaded. And of course, the cooperation between the law enforcement officers and the internet providers and the mental health caregivers should also be strengthened within the context of law. So mental health, the psychologists, the trauma-informed psychologists or clinical psychologists should come under the law, and the law should take under them and then provide uh, mental health support to the victims as well as to the police. So for the conclusion part, of course, there has to be a holistic approach to provide a psychological aspect as well as the legal framework to tackle down the cases of child abuse, sexually abusive content, and how this can be prevented from distribution as well as from person who has downloaded it, how we can track that person, and how can that be prevented in the future in the upcoming future. Uh, and this crime is not like a very personal crime to the person or the child which it is happening, or the person who is committing such crime, but it's a very moral crime and also quite against society, because this content is available to anyone, whether it is a child or it is an adult. So it has a drastic and lasting effect even if the view on the viewer itself. So the strengthening of laws and how we can tackle the dynamic nature of cyberspace, and to especially if we want to look around for the children which are around, look for the children which are around you if they are being affected by such people or the perpetrators which can have the potential or are have the potential to be such people. You have to look around for them and have to care for the children so that they are not victims of such heinous crime. So thank you so much for listening to me, and Pahal Horizon for granting me the platform to represent my paper and my research. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tuba. Thank you for your compelling presentation on such sensitive and critical issue, which is of absolute relevance in the modern time. And your exploration of the psycho-legal dimensions of the child's sexual exploitation, in cyberspace, that highlights the pressing need for a multifaceted approach that can address actually this heinous crimes which is prevailing in the today's time. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Is there any question from the side of audience? Okay, Tuba, does your study propose any kind of reform in the IT Act 2000 to strengthen or to impart more protections to the children in cyberspace?
Yes, the ITI currently we only have one section which addresses this, and it is entirely based, entirely focusing on how we can punish the offenders. It is not focusing on how we can like provide how we can spot the offenders or how we can provide support to the children, because children are very vulnerable people. So I
Yes.
would like that in the IT Act there should be an inclusion of mental health support for children as well, and a more comprehensive details or more detailed version can be there, because only there I believe one section of half a page is there in IT Act, and I that is not enough for dealing with such an heinous and such a sensitive crime.
Yes, true. A kind of um, rehabilitation is really required. Thank you,
Yes,
Tuba.
because
Thank you.
children are not someone who would go voluntarily to people, and parents are
Yes.
also very afraid of going to mental
Yes.
health support or people.
Absolutely.
So in that's the
Absolutely.
case.
Thank you, Tuba.
Thank you so
Now
much for
I
listening to me.
hand over the session to Dr. Yatendra Singh. Over to you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi Dubey. And
Thank you,
Tiva,
sir.
you have performed very well and gave us too much information regarding the IT Act of
Thank you, sir.
child abuse and uh, such other crime regarding the child. Now, the next session will be chaired by Dr. Rajan Lal. In very brief, I would like to introduce Dr. Rajan Lal. Dr. Rajan Lal is assistant professor in Department of English Studies and Research at JH Hindu PG College, Amroha, affiliated to Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, Rohilkhand University, Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh, India. He has, to his credit, 50 publications, including 8 ISBN books. A good number of chapters and poems have been published in ISBN books in national and international peer-reviewed refereed journal. Dr. Singh has witnessed over a dozen of research papers presented in national and international seminars and over 50 webinars. He occupies prestigious position at various boards in prestigious research journals. He was awarded the first National Environmental Awareness Award 2021 by the World Environment Council. Now I invite Dr. Rajan Lal to please start and chair the session. Over to Dr. Rajan Lal, sir. Sir, just unmute your sir mic. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Good evening to all. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Good evening to all the prestigious participants and speakers here in this a very, you could say, insightful gathering here. And I feel very much delighted and excited to welcome our distinguished guest speaker, Solomon Solomon whole name Solomon Estensa Bari from Asosa University, Ethiopia. Sir, he needs no introduction, but this is very much customary to introduce him before our honorable audience. So as regards her educational background, he holds a bachelor degree of law from Mekelle University, Ethiopia, and he has done his masters in international public policy from Central European University, Budapest, Hungary. He has also attended advanced legal courses at Drexel University, USA, Istanbul, Bilgil University, Turkey, and he has done also University of Pretoria Center for Human Rights, South Africa. As regards his achievements and awards, so he has been awarded Mandela Washington Fellow for 2024 and Civil Society Leadership Award winner in 2015 from the Open Society Foundation. He has been recognized for his contribution to legal advocacy, policy development in education. And as regards his publications conferences, So he has presented over a decade. He has over a decade of experience. He has significantly contributed to law, governance, human rights, and public policy, participating in international conferences and policy dialogues, focusing on access to justice, social security, law, and legal reforms in Ethiopia. He has written many books and chapters. As a dedicated researcher, he has authored legal articles, research papers, policy reports, which aim at enhancing legal education, judicial systems, and governance. He has a man of good expertise in law, policy reform, and international engagements. So now I welcome our distinguished speaker of this insightful gathering to make it a vibrant one, Sir Solomon Ethansa Bari. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Doctor.
Okay, sir, you are welcome to this insightful gathering this evening.
So,
your slide is visible.
So, thank you, Dr. Rajan, for the introduction and all the organizing team for this beautiful and important conference. I think I'm audible and my slides are visible on the screen.
Yes, yes, sir, that is visible. That is visible.
So, thank you very much. Basically, my topic focuses on higher education and regional transformation. Basically, how higher education, or basically academia and research, helped transforming regions, or basically when we say region, it could be a country or a specific region within a given country. So I will be addressing what the, sorry. Can the admin move the slides, please?
The slide is visible, but it is very much tiny. It you should enlarge it. Dr. Bari, would you please extend the slide? Yes, now it is visible.
Is it visible now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So basically, I will be addressing the values of higher education, the roles that higher education can play in regional transformation or in economic transformation, how higher education help with regional transformation or economic development in different parts of the world. We'll see some few examples from other regions, from Europe and Asia. And most importantly, we will address what factors determines the role of higher education, or the roles that higher education can play in regional or national economic development. So basically, universities or higher educations do have traditionally three missions, and one is teaching. The old and the traditional one is teaching, the other is research, and the third mission, also known as the third mission of universities, is community engagement. So basically, So basically, universities are established having these three missions wherever they are, whether in Europe or in Africa or in Asia or wherever they are. But the priorities given to their missions or their objectives may vary depending on national policies or the policy of that particular country. So there are basically three dominant views about the role of universities in a given country or in a given economy. And the first one is what we call the sober view. According to this view, the university is just another knowledge-based institution, not fundamentally different from knowledge-based business. That means, according to this view, basically universities are one.
हेलो हाँ हेलो हाँ सर थोड़ा मैं एक ऑनलाइन मीटिंग में हूँ वो तो फिर मैं बाद में बात कर लूँ
So universities are basically, according to the sober view, universities are basically considered as an institution similar to another institution, whatever, or similar to another business entity doing a given job in a given economy or in a given country. And the other view is what we call the social view. This view basically sees universities as an important critical counterbalance to governing forces and attitudes, be they market forces or mainstream societal attitudes. So basically, according to this social view, the public role of the university lies in its ability to widen the access to knowledge and its benefits to the community as wide as a range of individuals as possible. So this view, this social view, basically views universities or considers universities as an organization or as an institution that contributes to social development, as an institution that contributes to solving prevailing social problem. The another view or the third view is it's different from what we call the social view, in that the purist view basically sees universities as an institution that need to consider itself or keep itself distant from the knowledge or the information in the society, with the capacity of estimating the future, speculating the future. The university, according to this view, the university has to seek a critical distance from its social, political, and economic environment in order to optimize its innovative and early warning potential. So according to this purist view, universities or higher educations are institutions with a potential of innovation and early warning about the future or about indicating the future. So, basically, these views are dominant in every society. These three views, the social view, the sober view, the purist view, are available in every society or in all the community around the universities. But the big point or important point is how universities function, how universities impact the society, basically depends on a range of factors or different factors, and the need and or the policy behind their establishments. So basically, the role that universities can play in regional development or in enhancing regional development basically depends on the policies of the government or national policies. Basically, researches conducted by OECD and different organizations indicate that universities have played a transformative role in different societies or in different communities. If we look at some examples from Europe, and if you take Malaysia, for example, Malaysia used to send its students abroad for higher education or for learning and for researches. But Malaysia changed this trend since 1990s and decided to establish higher educations and invest in higher educations to speed up or to gear up this economy toward this what we say knowledge based or research based economy. So the Iskandar Edu City in Malaysia is one typical example, and recently the initiatives taken by the government of Malaysia in establishing another Edu City, that's the Kuala Lumpur Edu City, is another typical example. By doing so, Malaysia was able to attract prestigious universities from Europe and from the United States to Malaysia. They were able to attract the brightest minds from Europe and from Asia and from other parts of the world. And these are basically contributing to transform Malaysia, the economy of Malaysia, to a knowledge-based economy, or they are enhancing regional development in Malaysia. Similar data from China indicates that about a research conducted on about 239 Chinese cities indicate that higher educations through their learning, research, and the community engagement enhanced the development of these cities in many different ways in China. And these cities where universities are engaging in researches, in community engagement, in teaching, are demonstrating a better development compared to other areas, other regions, or other parts of the country where there are no universities. And we can also mention the case of Mekong Delta in Vietnam. So Mekong Delta was once the poorest region in Vietnam, but with the help of the government of Vietnam and external donors such as the World Bank, the government invested in higher education in Mekong Delta, and the Mekong Delta is now showing a tremendous, is currently undergoing a tremendous development, a huge change, transformation through the works of higher educations or universities. So we can also mention of the Basque County in Spain, the Wrocław region of Poland. So these are an exemplary of, or examples where few of the examples actually, there are a lot of examples, and these are few of them to show that universities can transform regions, can change regions through their researches, through their community engagements, through their teaching and learning activities. So basically, when I say this, research is the backbone of the community engagement and the learning or the teaching activity of universities. So I'm rushing for the sake of time. So what are the barriers to the university engagement, or what are the determining factors for universities to play their roles, their critical roles in regional development or in regional transformations? So the mere fact of establishment of a university or a higher education in a given area, in a given region, doesn't bring a transformation or a development per se. There are a range of factors. There are different factors that determines universities to play their roles. And the first one is national policy. National policy. If there is no proper national policy, if the national policies are wrong, universities can't function properly or well to enhance regional development. So when we talk about national policy barriers, we can ask different questions, such as, what are the policy frameworks governing higher education? What the government wants to achieve through higher educations? What are the resources available? And to what degree are universities free from political interference? And to what degree academic freedom is protected or is guaranteed, are basically important questions to ask when we talk about national policies, because these factors determine how universities function, how universities work or engage with the community. The other barrier or the other determinant factor is or pertains to local government or regional government. How are cities, how are local governments, how are local administrations perceive universities? How do they perceive the academia? How do they perceive the research? How do they perceive the entity called higher education or university? If the regional government or if the local government, the local administrators are not concerned about universities, their workers, their researchers, their community engagements, if they are not cooperative or if they are not supportive, then universities and the researches they conduct cannot bring the desired outcome. And so a research conducted by UNESCO and presented on the UNESCO forum indicates that miscommunication or lack of cooperation between universities and the local governments affect the operation of the universities and can actually bring about failures at the end. And so basically, how the Iskandar region of Malaysia and the Kuala Lumpur Edu city are bringing change in the region is a typical example of how the national government, the federal government or the central government and the local government are working together and bringing about the desired outcome in Malaysia. So the other important determinant factor is university leadership or university management. So lack of good governance in universities, tendency towards political loyalty than academic loyalty among the university administration, using academia to achieve political objectives, lack of human-focused research allocation, which eventually bring about difficulty of recruiting and retaining qualified faculties or faculty members, lack of career development opportunities for faculty members, poor communication between administration and the faculty and in fact students as well, and the lack of transparency in decision making are some of the critical traits of university leadership or university management that can hamper the activities of higher educations or higher learning organizations or institutions in achieving their goals. So basically, for universities to bring the desired outcome, that's basically regional development or regional transformation through their workers, basically research and the community engagement, there has to be clear policy roadmaps for universities, both at central and the local government levels. There has to be an effort to strengthen collaboration between government structures and the universities. University administrational and the leadership activities has to be revisited. And above all, meeting the demands of the researchers and the academia through allocating necessary funds, necessary supports to the academia, to the researchers is very crucial. And these important traits has to be taken into account in enhancing regional development or regional transformation through research and community engagements for universities. Thank you very much. And If there are questions, you are welcome, please.
Dr. Lal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bari, for your insightful deliberation on higher education and the role of universities. Role of universities in strengthening the regional transformation. And Dr. Bari, you provided many examples regarding how university play their crucial role in regional transformation, social transformation, economic, political. Actually, what I know, universities are a place of higher learning, dissidents, and they are the torch bearers. They show the way to the learners. So really, your deliberation was very much fruitful for our audience. You talk about in your deliberation what is the role of universities in social engineering, social development, how they connect these local people to higher education. And next you talk about university, just like in literature we can say the purist view you talk about, and how universities are developing, and they can play their role in the development of moral approach, ethical approach of in the heart and minds of the readers of the area. Basically, the interesting point to note was that there were various barriers to university engagement, local views, political views, and university leadership. There should be a proper harmony for the higher education development and the regional transformation. And you talk about EduCity. Uh, from there, in the earlier time, they sent to their students the various universities, and after their return, they try to establish their own universities. And you also deliberated that they invited various universities to open their camps in the area, so they can provide their crucial role in the social for the social transformation of the local people. And one more, you talk about Vietnam, Mekong. There was no university or higher education place of higher education learning, but to the local bodies and government also helping there, and they are filling the gap. So really, as universities are known for their higher education, and they are known as also the torch bearers and the path makers for the learners. So overall, we can say, sir, today's your deliberation is really very much useful, and we would be indebted to you, and you share your thought in regional transformation by higher education. So that would be really very much fruitful to our audience and me as well. And thank you very much. Now I would like to invite our next presenter, that is Aarti Balu. Bricks on the rise, a mere shift in trade dynamics or a strategic threat to the Western Bloc. Aarti, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Aarti, you are most welcome, but please keep in your mind the limits of time, because we are already running late. Aarti, now you are welcome.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Sir, is my screen visible?
That is, yes, that is visible.
Yes.
Please feel free to stop me if my screen is not visible.
Your screen is fully visible.
Sure, sir. Let me begin now.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. And this is Aarti Balu from Madras School of Economics, Chennai, and I'm a first year student. First of all, thanks to Pahal Horizon for providing me with insights over the past 3 months. And me being completely new to research, it's truly an honor to be amidst all my experienced fellow mates. So here I am to present some key points of my review paper titled BRICS on the Rise, a mere shift in global trade dynamics or a strategic threat to the Western bloc. So, all right, imagine a world where the US dollar isn't the king of global trade anymore. Imagine countries trading with their own currency, setting their own rules, and challenging the Western dominance. So, that's exactly what BRICS is trying to do. And today I'm going to break it down for you what BRICS is, why it matters, and whether it's a game changer or just a lot of talk. So before going into the topic, let me just run you all through the table of contents. First, we will look at what BRICS is and is it a shift in global power or a threat to the West? About the US dollar's monopoly in the global market, trade among BRICS nations, the BRICS expansion, the West is pushing back. Why? And the challenges ahead for BRICS. So first of all, what is BRICS? It's a group of 5 big economies: Brazil, India, Russia, China, and South Africa. They came together in the year 2009 because they felt that the global finance, things like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, they were all controlled by the Western countries. So they wanted a system where developing countries had more say. And fast forward to today, BRICS is growing really fast. More than 40 countries are eager to join BRICS. Why? Because they see BRICS as a chance to build a new fat system where everyone gets a better representation. So the BRICS Plus Alliance represents 45% of the world's population and 28% of the global GDP. So here's the big deal. BRICS is trying to ditch the US dollar. That's why the US dollar's monopoly is at risk. We all know that for decades, most global trade has been done in dollars. Countries use dollars to buy oil, food, and almost everything, and even to pay debts. This gives the US a lot of power. But BRICS wants to change that. They are currently trading in their local currencies so that they can reduce the dependence on the dollar. And secondly, they are in discussion about introducing a new BRICS currency for global trade to promote financial institution independence. So this process is usually called de-dollarization. And if the BRICS succeeds in this one, the US won't have as much control over the global trade.
Excuse me, Aarti, I don't think your slides are visible to us. So just wanted to let you know about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where was it exactly not visible?
Right now we are at slide number 5. Sorry, slide number 4 now. BRICS, a shift in global power or a threat to the West. That's where we are right now.
So do you want me to continue from there? Can I repeat it again, whatever I said before?
Yeah, but in short.
Yeah, sure. Can you see it now? Hello?
Yes, we can see the 4th slide. So if you were presenting on the 4th slide, then we are at the right pace. But if not, then you might have to check that.
So yeah, if the current BRICS, a shift in global power, is visible, I will continue with that.
That is visible now.
Yeah, so basically BRICS is a group of 5 major economies. It is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And they came together in the year 2009 because they felt that the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they were favored by the Western countries. And so fast forward to today, the BRICS is growing really fast. More than 40 countries want to join BRICS because they see that BRICS is a chance to build a new fat system where everyone gets a better representation. So almost 45% of the world's population and 28% of the global GDP is a part of BRICS Plus Alliance. And the BRICS is trying to ditch the US dollar, and that's why US dollar is at risk today. Countries use dollars to buy oil, food, and even pay debts. So this gives the US a lot of power. But the BRICS wants to change that, and they're currently trading in their own local currencies instead of using the dollar. So apart from that, they're also talking about creating their own currency. If that happens, the US won't have as much control over the global trade. Is trade among BRICS nations visible?
Ma'am, please change your slides. That is stable.
So is this visible?
Yes, now visible.
So yeah, and the trade among BRICS nations is also booming. Why? Let us see how. First, we'll take China. China now buys 91% of the Brazil's BRICS exports, up from 59%. So this is around a span of 10 years. And if we look at India and Russia's trade has also reached around 45 billion US dollars, mainly due to oil. And we all know that India and Russia have a very nice relation in the geopolitical arena because both of them have supported each other during war or in times of crisis. Even recently, when many nations sanctioned on Russia for starting the war in Ukraine and stopped buying oil from Russia, at least for namesake, India didn't leave Russia's side. So, in short, they have a very good relation in trade as well as geopolitics. And when we come to South Africa, the South African exports to BRICS nations have also grown of around 7% per year. So in short, BRICS countries are trading more with each other and less with the West. This creates a very strong economic independence for BRICS countries. So the BRICS expansion is also strengthening the global South. So apart from the original 5 countries that we've seen earlier, BRICS is also attracting interest from diverse economies such as Ethiopia, Argentina, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. So with more countries joining BRICS Plus, it is evolving into an alternative to the Western-led economic alliances like G7. G7 is basically a group of 7 countries that are very well developed. And BRICS expansion can be perceived as a move that is empowering the developing nations because they get a better representation on the global arena. So obviously, the West is not just sitting and watching us do all this. The West is definitely pushing back. The Western countries see BRICS as a threat. And also the current US President Donald Trump, he has threatened 100% tariffs on BRICS nations if they push for a new currency. And you know, guys, we are still dependent on US for a lot of things. And for example, China exported around $427 billion to the US in 2023. And if this if this is executed without any systematic approach, it could lead to tension. And this could also lead to a new Cold War where economic policies become battlefields. So I would suggest you guys to look at this post by Donald Trump on December 2024. And from this, you will know how important it is to even common people like us. Please have a 30 seconds read and just go through this.
You are not audible.
Hello?
Arti? Yes, sir. Continue.
Yes, sir. If everyone has take a moment to read this thing, I will continue.
The US dollar.
So from this, we know how serious it is getting. And
Exactly.
yeah, sure, the challenges for BRICS is also, there are a lot of challenges for BRICS at the current moment because we have a lot of internal political and economic differences. And we all know that India and China have some territorial conflicts. So before taking a big move, we have to sort out some things between us. And the BRICS currency has no clear plan yet. And some countries fear losing control over their economies. And lastly, the new development bank, that is the BRICS version of World Bank, still relies on the US dollar. So what's next? If BRICS succeeds, we might see a new economic world order where power shifts away from the US and Europe, and countries would have more control over their own money and trade won't be dominated by the dollar. But if BRICS can't get past their internal fights and challenges, it would be really tough for us. So lastly, how does this align with sustainability, you may ask? BRICS countries make up to 48% of the global energy markets, giving them major influence on the energy sector. Their policies might directly affect global energy trends and emissions. So by focusing on renewable energy, they can lead the way to a more sustainable future. The world's sustainable future depends on the decisions these countries make regarding energy. So that's it from my side. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, Aarti Valu. Your presentation is really very much commendable, and that was really very much vibrant. And you defined what is BRICS in your deliberation. Secondly, you showed the attraction of the other 40 countries to join the this group of 5 countries. And basically, the most interesting point is that the power of the BRICS is lessening the power of the West, especially Donald Trump and other countries. And recently, Prime Minister Modi visited America. India policy in past has been non-cooperative, but now we are having ties with Russia and Ukraine and America. So at that time, if we are having anything from Russia, America will not entertain us. But now it's the power of BRICS that America is developing, entertaining us. Russia always entertaining us. So you have defined that the BRICS is becoming powerful, and you also showed that that there was a great threat for America, and there was a, you can say, tension for Donald Trump and the West, that BRICS is going to you can say weaken America and Western economy. So really, thank you very much for your presentation, and you empowered and you enlightened the power of BRICS. Thank you very much. Any question from the audience? Any question?
So may I ask a question?
Yes, welcome.
Yes. So, hi Aarti, I hope I am audible. My name is Priya Chopra, and I'm a very big political science enthusiast, and I love geopolitics. So, I was especially very looking forward to your presentation, and it was good. But I have just one question. That while you talk about BRICS and you talk about tariffs, that Trump could put 100% tariffs, and you also tell us about the implications. What are the ways in which the BRICS countries all together can fight these tariffs, knowing that recently two or three of these countries have left the BRICS bloc, and there is a lot of dwindling within the bloc. So how do you think that the BRICS could actually fight these tariffs? Can they put their own tariffs on America? Is there any other way apart from de-dollarization that BRICS can take a step up and get away from the Western economies and from their dependence on Western economies?
Hi, Pia. First of all, thank you for asking such an interesting question. It was thought-provoking for me as well. So I'll give you an answer from my personal opinion. First of all, retaliating on each other by imposing tariffs on each other's countries won't help right now, because such spontaneous actions might lead to trade wars that that are not very desirable. All right. So what we can do is, instead of imposing tariffs from our side, which actually India is currently doing right now, we could maybe um, enhance the trade relations with the BRICS countries and other countries as well. For example, we could ask South Africa to join in as a new member, because they have a lot of potential in diamonds and mining sector. So we could reduce the Western dominance by identifying potential export opportunities with other countries as well. So I think instead of uh, making a drastic move, we could implement policies as such that could enhance trade opportunities with other countries, and then we might think of implementing the de-dollarization.
Great. Thank you so much, Aarti.
Thank you.
Is anybody else any query? Sorry to there is a technical error. That is why Dr. Lal sir has I think left. He has just warned me. So the next presenter is Zelalem, Desalegn, Abebe. Are you present here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I'm
Zelalem,
here, sir.
welcome. And keep in mind that time is very short, please.
Okay, sir.
Over to you.
Is the screen visible?
Yeah, you are visible.
The screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Across the globe, welcome to International Conference on Sustainable Research. Is the change visible, sir?
Yeah,
The change.
visible. Yeah, visible.
Okay. I am Zelalem from Bahar Institute of Technology, and I am third year material science and engineering students, and also participant of Winter Research Internship Program. I am excited to share with you a groundbreaking research initiative. Today, I will be presenting sustainable and cost-effective materials or assistive tools. His project not only bridge accessibility gap, but also promote environmental sustainability. Before starting deep clarification, I would like to tell a short story. When I was grade 10, I had a friend. We were close. Even we spent time after class. He had brilliant student. One day after class, he got one accident. In the consequence of the accident, doctors tell us to his legs and his left hand were out of work. He have to use wheelchair to continue his study. That time was black for us, especially for him. His family couldn't to provide assistive tools for him because they were low income family. In order to this, he dropped out the class. Then within a time he came to demoralize. What I'm this storytelling for you. This is initiative for me to write this paper, and my areas are in this area. Now let's dive to my research presentation. It is the introduction part. Let's see the research main points that are index as index term. The first one is accessibility. The accessibility is one, and the sustainability and creating inclusive culture and cost effectiveness. So on this way, my research paper is evolved. When I come to the research question and the hypothesis, before starting to my paper, there are some questions and proposed explanation or prediction for those questions. Those are why don't all people with disabilities have access to assistive tools, and how can we close the accessibility gap for people with disability? And the hypothesis one is this gap and why people are not equally accessible is the materials that used in the fabrication. Based on the hypothesis and the question, I dive to my research paper. Then next, when we come to the problem or the global accessibility gap, did you know 1.3 billion people in the world have experienced significant disability? Yet 1 billion are not access or lack of access to essential assistive tools. The lack of access to assistive tools has far-reaching consequences. It limit independency, reduce economic opportunity, perpetuate social inclusion. According to WHO, this issue affects billions, but there is hope. By using sustainable materials, we can create a more inclusive world while reducing our environmental footprint. So, what are the sustainable materials? So, when we come to sustainable materials, these are recycled. Yes, as recyclability, an example, plastic, bio-based composite, and locally sourced natural, like natural fibers. On the other hand, the impact on traditional material or currently we are used in fabrication of these assistive tools. These are reliance on non-renewable resource and waste generations, and also costly. Our fabrication method includes in 3D printing and compression molding, which allows customization and scalability. However, material selection and characterization play a great role in our good final products. So, when we come to the impact of my research, this research impact inclusive design, circular economy, cost saving, local economic development, and also environmental benefits. When I come to inclusive design, ensuring assistive tools meet the need of users. Yeah. So when come to circular economy, reducing waste and promoting recycling. Yeah. And also cost saving, making tools affordable for all that want need. And also local economic development, creating jobs through local material sourcing, and also environmental benefits, reducing reliance on non-renewable resource. So when we come to the another way, the bright achieve of this research, in my view, is aligned with UN Sustainable Development Goals. As we know, there are 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. From this research aligned with the series. The first one is SDG 3, that tells good health and well-being. This address good this research or my my project address good health for that want need, and also SDG 10 reduce inequality. This one is my best point on the research. That is reduce the inequality, and also SDG 12. That is responsible consumption and production. So the research promotes like recyclability, eco-friendly. So this overall, the research or the concept is aligned with the research aligned with Sustainable Development Goal UN, and also as a conclude. In conclusion, my research demonstrates that sustainable materials are not just feasible, they are essential for creating a more inclusive and sustainable future. Moving forward, we will focus on okay, we will focus on improving materials enhancement, scaling productions method, and refining user-centered design. Together, we can close the accessibility gap and build a world where everyone had the tool they need to thrive. And finally, this is my reference, and I would like, before I finish, I would like to extend my gratitude for Pahal Horizon International Research Journal and Bahar Institute of Technology, and also School of Material Science and Engineering, and all of you, the participants. Thank you for your time and attention. Let us work together to create a more inclusive and sustainable world. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask.
Any question from the participants? The presenter is ready to answer. Okay, thank you very much, Zelalem, Desalegn, Abebe. You presented very well, and really the presentation made by you is the need of the time that demarcates the disabled and the person you are able to do anything. The most important thing what I got here is that you talk about the circular economy. But from the time immemorial we are having, there are so many queens and kings and prime ministers and the elite class, and the money has been confined to them, and most of the population has been below poverty line. And South Africa, South Asia, and you can say Kenya and other countries, in even India is included in that one. Much part of population is below poverty line. So your research tries to create a platform that will create the tools and ways how to the person within poverty line and they are inaccessible to tools. So your presentation
I think there is a technical error, and that is why I think.
I have joined, sir.
Okay, okay.
So really your paper tries to bridge this gap between high and low, rich and poor, and that envisions how to create a equal platform, just like you can say that socialism or communism. Really, thank you very much for your presentation and enlightening us, our audience. Really, I hope you will be presenting such kind of papers in other next gathering. Thank you very much, Zelalem, Desalegn, Abebe. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And our next presenter is Shayan Basu Roy. The topic of his presentation is analysis of.
All right, so I think I'll just start. I think there are some technical difficulties. Very good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone all around the world. My name is Shayan Basuroy, and before I start, I would just like to get something right. Just please let me know that my presentation is visible to all of you. I will just, yes, so just a second. I'll just start the presentation. Is it visible in full screen?
Yes, full
to
screen.
everyone? All
It
right,
is visible.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. All right. So, once again, greetings of the day to everyone. My name is Shayan Basuroy. I am a third-year student at Delhi College of Arts and Commerce, University of Delhi, and I'm pursuing an honors course in political science. The topic that I have chosen for myself is the analysis of migrant movements across conflict-ridden regions. This is something that I have personally been very passionate about, and I would love for all of you to get to know about this topic, and I would love to share my thoughts today. So before we get ahead with the presentation, here is the table of contents. We will be starting with the introduction, followed by the literature review, understanding the research methodologies, the key findings that I have had, the comparative analysis, the conclusion and policy analysis, recommendations, acknowledgements, and of course, references, right? So with that, as you can see, I will be starting in 3, 2, 1. Right. So let us talk a little bit about couple of stories that I would like to highlight, because since we are talking about an analysis of migrant movements, the two conflict-ridden regions that I have taken into account are the Rohingya refugee conflict that has happened because of displacement of a huge number of Rohingya refugees from the Rakhine state in Myanmar, and then of course the recent.
Palestinian migrant from Gaza.
Should I continue, sir? I think someone's
Yeah.
mic was on. So, yeah.
No,
All right.
sir. Continue.
All right, great. Thank you. So, and then secondly, of course, understanding the migration and displacement of Palestinian refugees in Gaza. So, starting with that, there are two stories that I would like to narrate to you. One is that, in the refugee camps of Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, individuals like Zia and his peers have taken to photography to document their experiences using smartphones and basic cameras. They capture daily life to share their stories on social media, striving to keep the world's attention on their community struggle. Talking about one story from the Gaza crisis is that Nadine Abdul Latif, a 14-year-old blogger, described returning to her devastated neighborhood after a ceasefire. The streets are gone. Life for a 14-year-old returning to Gaza seems impossible now. Despite the destruction, Nadine's determination to rebuild reflects the resilience of many Gazans. So the point that I'm trying to make here initially is that before I officially start my presentation, personal accounts like these have been a major part of my research, and it is through personal accounts and through the personal experiences of people who have been part of these conflicts that we actually get to understand the impact these conflicts have had on people, which in turn influences the migrant movements that take place all across the world. So migration in conflict region is one of the most pressing humanitarian crises of our time. This research focuses on two major migration crises, as clarified before, the Palestinian displacement from Gaza and the Rohingya exodus from Myanmar. The significance of this study lies in identifying global patterns of forced migration, highlighting challenges and proposing solutions to mitigate the future crises. Let us move on to the literature review. Now, the literature on the conflict-driven migration provides extensive insight into historical and ongoing displacement. Studies indicate that Palestinian migration is deeply tied to territorial conflicts. Similarly, the Rohingya crisis is driven by ethnic persecution, where Myanmar's policies have systematically stripped the Rohingya of their citizenship, leading to mass displacement. Identifying the research gaps, despite existing research, significant gaps remain, especially regarding the long-term economic and social impact of forced migration and the effectiveness of international policies. The point simply that I'm trying to make here, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is much more common within these two conflicts than we know of. Let us move on to the research methodology. To understand the complexities of this topic, a comparative analysis was used. This method of comparative analysis helps to identify the patterns of displacement between the Palestinian and Rohingya communities while highlighting their distinct challenges. A diverse range of data sources was utilized, including historical records, demographic statistics, and first-hand refugee narratives. Now, as you can see, comparative analysis, data collection methods, and additionally an intersectional approach, wherein we take a variety of factors into interplay to understand the crisis, which at the end of the day is about human beings. Now, let us move on to the next slide. Just a second. Yeah. Now, the key findings. So the key findings that, that I have come across through my comparative analysis is that, there are three main factors that come into the play, which are that the Palestinian and Rohingya populations both suffer for number one, statelessness, number two, systemic persecution, number three, lack of international protection, which ends up
Shine, there is some technical glitch.
I apologize. For some reason, I think I was removed from the meeting.
No problem. You can rejoin. This is the technical glitch.
Yes, sir. I'll just start presenting my thing again. Just a second. Yeah.
Okay.
Is my screen visible once again? I hope it
Yes.
is.
It
Yeah.
is.
All right. Great, sir. Thank you so much. I was at key findings. Yes. All right. So just to start with that again, so through the comparative analysis, as I said, the three major factors that came in front of my eyes was statelessness, systemic persecution, and a lack of international protection, making their displacement long-term and highly unstable. Refugee camps remain overcrowded, under-resourced, and psychologically damaging to those who are forced to stay there indefinitely. Food shortages, lack of proper health care, and violence within camps increase the crisis. And also international aid organizations, due to politics happening in these regions, haven't been able to infiltrate and actually be able to provide proper human aid. For example, the United Nations Human Rights Commission or the UNRWA, even though they've been able to provide temporary relief to a certain extent, it hasn't been as impactful as we would have wanted it to be. Now, let us move on to the comparative analysis, which is the essential crux of my research. A comparative analysis of these crises reveals both similarities and stark differences. So, as I said earlier, there is much more common to these two conflicts than we know of, right? First of all, the Palestinian displacement is rooted in, of course, as we understand, a territorial conflict, whereas the Rohingya crisis is primarily driven by ethnic persecution and the lack of legal recognition. However, the similarity is that, ladies and gentlemen, that both groups face severe legal and social barriers, with refugees often being denied basic rights in these host countries. For example, Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh have limited access to education and employment, and whereas many Palestinians still remain, misplaced or lack of a state. So this table that is presented in front of you that I have made showcases the factors such as, the root causes of displacement, the geographic constraints, legal and political recognition. So, this showcases the fact that, there are so many different factors and so many different, externalities that are into play when we understand this particular line of research. Now, moving on. So now I come to the conclusion and policy recommendations. Policy recommendations for addressing forced migrations must focus on legal protections, sustainable resettlement, and conflict resolution. As this particular conference in itself is about, sustainable research, I think sustainable research will go a long way in understanding sustainable resettlement for these refugees. First, governments and international organizations need to grant stronger legal protections. And, we need to recognize those who are made stateless, and also relying solely on temporary refugee camps might not be inherently effective. Host nations should focus on long-term integration programs that provide education and employment opportunities. Lastly, diplomatic efforts must be intensified to address the root causes of migration, ensuring that the affected populations can eventually return home safely or integrate into new societies. As I conclude today, it is evident that the Palestinian and Rohingya migration crises reveal deep-rooted systemic failures in global refugee policies. Both groups face statelessness, persecution, and inadequate international intervention. We need legal protections, we need humanitarian aid, and we need sustainable resettlement solutions. Without these efforts, forced migration will continue to grow moving forward. Further research and diplomatic engagement, such as has been provided by Pahal Horizon itself, are necessary to provide future displacement and provide long-term stability for refugees worldwide. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Pahal Horizon, especially to Lokesh sir, Akash sir, Dr. Yatendra Singh sir, and the entire team for their invaluable support. The myriad of visiting guests and researchers that we have had have really contributed to my understanding as someone who wants to deep dive into the world of research. My university, the University of Delhi, has, given me this drive to engage myself in research as much as I can. And last but not least, my ancestral inspiration. My grandfather, their grandfathers, and many of my ancestors were migrants and refugees themselves who came from Bangladesh during political conflict. And it doesn't for a second escape me that it is necessary for me to take up this topic and carry forward their legacy while understanding the privilege and being conscious of the privilege that I stand with today. With that, these are the references: Adamson and Greenhill, UNHCR, Pal Think for Strategic Studies, Journal of Humanitarian Action, Save the Children, and the UNICEF report on the Rohingya crisis and refugees. With that, once again, thank you very much to Pahal Horizon for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much to all the guest speakers at this conference today. And lots of good wishes to all my fellow researchers. Everyone up till this point has done an incredible job, and I'm so happy and so proud of each one of us. I am open to questions, I'm open to suggestions, I'm open to feedback. Thank you once again very much for my presentation. Thank you.
Any question on the side of the audience? Shayan Basu Roy has presented his deliberation very well with confidence and as per the research methodology. Really, he is a very outstanding research scholar in my view. Thank you
so
very
much, sir.
much. Thank you very much, Shayan. Any question on the side of
Yes,
the
I
audience?
May
believe.
I ask a question, sir?
Yes, I believe he has a question.
Hi, Shayan. I absolutely loved the presentation, the way that you've presented. One of the best that I have seen today. One thing that I would like to ask you is that in your research, you've presented a legal point of view, you've presented a political and a diplomatic standpoint of it, and you've also presented, to some extent, a social point of view. Having come from a migrant family yourself, could you tell me how do you and people like you deal with the social stigma that still exists in the people that reside, in the citizens of the host countries regarding the migrants? Because you can see what happened in Manipur. You could see that what is happening in Assam. You know, there's a problem with resources. There's a problem in the governance, and the people mostly blame people who have come to India and to other countries as to other host countries as well. How do you deal with that, and how have you incorporated that in your research as well? I'd love to know about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question, Pia. I think, first of all, I would like to say one thing, which is something very important to me, is that um, obviously, my ancestry and my heritage inspired me to take up this particular topic in understanding migrant populations and understanding refugee populations. However, at the same time, I am very, aware and conscious of the privilege that I hold in my life because of the struggles and because of the life that my ancestors created for me. So that gratefulness doesn't escape me for 1 second. But as you said, yes, there are moments. I mean, they might be not very stringent or very, on the face moments, but there are moments where, when I talk about my origins, when I talk about, my life story or my origin story or the origin story of my ancestors, oftentimes I'm met with, these off the cut remarks that, oh, you're from the other side. Or, oh, you were never really originally from this place. Even though, I might have spent my whole life in this city. I might have spent my whole life, being educated in the city as well. So I think those are some, not, I wouldn't even call them microaggressions. I think that is just a historical perspective that people develop over time. And I think, part of why I took up this topic is because I allowed myself and I was able to become a more aware person myself of my heritage and my history. And I think if this motivates me more, if not less, to, go ahead and take up this research in the future generations. I shall be pursuing my master's in Ireland soon. And I wish to contribute and collaborate with researchers and wish to contribute and collaborate with the international community in understanding migrant conflict, in understanding migrant populations, and in understanding that at the end of the day, this is a human crisis. It's nothing, at the end of the day, it's not about being political. It's not about being, being on the right or wrong side of history. It's about so many people sacrificing their lives. It's about so many people losing their lives just because of certain disagreements between two nation states, which just for some reason can't be resolved. And I think as researchers and as young minds who have the energy with them, it is important to take that legacy and that inspiration forward. So I think that would be my answer to your question. So thank you very much.
Beautifully answered, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Shayan Vasu. You seem to be more than a research scholar, and your presentation really very commendable and vibrant.
Thank you so much, sir.
This is our, you can say, this is our great luck and destiny to have a research scholar like you in the meeting today. Really.
No, sir. It is purely the help and support of, the team at Pahal Horizon. This is my first time presenting as well. I was very scared as well personally. but
No, this
I'm
looks
really
like
glad everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much.
okay. Thank you. This is your greatness, and your confidence shows that you are going to be a great scholar in future. But now, apart from the topic, but very related to the same, the regime in Delhi is changed now, and there is in the street there is silent hue and cry about the Rohingyas. What is your take about this?
So could you repeat that? The state of in the where exactly?
There is a change of regime in Delhi now,
In
and there
Delhi,
is
right? Correct.
and in the streets there is a silent hue and cry about the so-called Rohingyas is there. What was their take about them?
All right. I think the future is very I would say it is very topsy-turvy. It is going to be a roller coaster ride because you see the thing is that wherever a refugee goes and settles down, or wherever someone who has been displaced from their home country, life never remains the same. So whenever and we I am aware that there are communities of Rohingya refugees living in various parts of New Delhi. For example, in North Delhi, Chandni Chowk, or like even if you go to, Sarai Kale Khan, for example, which is very well known as a huge settlement area for those who come apart, away from their, those who've been displaced from their hometowns, etc. I think
Okay.
with the regime change that has, of course, happened in Delhi, with with the current assembly elections, I think migrant politics or those who come outside of Delhi, I think their issues will be highlighted. I am hopeful that they would be because at the end of the day, no one really is from Delhi. Everyone comes, everyone leaves their hometowns and comes to Delhi, so no one can truly really claim